Welcome back, my dark minions, to the dark void, ruled by me, 951, with a K, people, with a K. And today, yes, I said that if something may change if something changes, and something did, actually. I decided that it was like through the day, yesterday, and I thought about this. I have gone through this entire month, and not once have I done anything. My headset. I really need to take this thing. Not once have I made something scary for the month of October. So I decided, what better way than to make a reaction video by watching a creepypasta about Halloween. Now, I know Halloween is just another... Wait, is it another week? Yeah, one more week away, I think. Yes. No? Yes! It is. Maybe. I don't know, which is also my birthday. So, and I have no idea whether or not. But, so I know it's a week early, but I decided, you know what? Why not? Make a video on it. Let's see what happens. And I decided to make a video on this one. It is called Every Halloween I Get the Same Trick-or-Treat. A trick-or-treater creepypasta. Narrated by Mr. Creeps. Just to let you know, I think I've seen his videos once before. I cannot remember. It's been a long time since I've seen creepypastas. The last horror scary thing was from Trevor Henderson's Top Thing. But I don't think that was by Mr. Creeps? I don't know. Remind me down below. So I decided, you know what? Might as well watch this with you, and if you want to see the full video without me, I will leave the link down below for you guys so you can watch this yourselves without my beautiful voice. And just to let you know, there are other creepypasta YouTubers out there. I advise you to go search them out. But this one is from Mr. Creeps. Also, let me know down in the comments. I will be doing this sometimes, not all the times, and just changing it up a little bit because it's Halloween. Why not? And yeah, let's begin it. Just to let you know, it's 16 minutes long, so let's get this right to it. Let's begin, and let's see if I'm terrified or not. Let's go.
I can see him now, standing across the road towards my living room window. He stands approximately 4 feet and 7 inches tall from what I can tell. The average for a boy his age. My estimate for that is he is either 9 or 10, but I have no way of knowing for sure. This is because of his costume. You can really call it that.
I absolutely love this guy's voice.
It's a draped bedsheet, tattered and messy on the edges with splintering tears and unevenly cut holes across his face and upper chest. In some ways, it reminds me of a caricature representation of an old Peanut special. For this reason, I have come to call the boy Charlie.
Understandable.
I have made an unspoken agreement over these past 3 years. I do not bother him, and he never bothers me. This is because of what happened that very first Halloween after I moved in.
What?
I never intended to be up so late, but my friend Matt invited me to a party, and Matt was the type you simply couldn't say no to. I left my house around at 9:30 that night, the usual crowd of trick-or-treaters already having made their way by, and that was when I noticed him in my rearview mirror. He was holding an empty plastic jack-o'-lantern and staring straight at me as I prepared to back out. I remember feeling startled. It was unusual to see anyone out at this time of night.
It is. It's freaking creepy, I'd say.
I put my car in park and jumped out to scold him. What do you think you're doing? Your parents must be worried sick. What's your name? I asked as I wagged my finger at him from across the street. The boy said nothing. He simply continued to stand there, clutching his plastic candy carrier and looking toward me. I remember that made me feel even more uncomfortable, but also a little frustrated. Don't ignore me, young man. I'm talking to you. I shouted as I crossed over to get a better look at him. I reached down and grabbed his arm and pulled him over to my driveway. My plan was to call his parents, get them to discipline him, and possibly give him a heart-to-heart. None of that happened. Instead, the moment that I touched Charlie, I could not move. I don't mean to say that he was strong or that he had pulled away from me. What I'm describing is
Uh-huh.
utter and total loss of any bodily function.
Oh,
I was
no.
paralyzed, frozen. I released my grip from the boy immediately and stared down at my sweaty palm. I felt dizzy, confused, and out of breath as
I have to say,
steps back.
kids are creepy anyway.
At first, I thought it was a mistake of some kind, maybe a prank. Could it be that the boy was carrying rocks in his shoes and couldn't move? I got closer to inspect his clothing. In the dim light of the street lamps, I couldn't make out much, so I chose to crouch down.
Oh,
He was
no.
wearing long Levi denim jeans under the bedsheet, which ended in some mess of mud and stains on his bare ankles. But no socks nor any shoes, just naked feet which seemed to be covered in dirt and grime. Getting back up to my feet, I placed my hands on my hips and tried again to intimidate him.
Yeah, that's not
"What's
gonna
your
help.
name, son?" He made no reply at all. "Look, if you don't cooperate with me, I'm going to have to call the police, and that's that," I said firmly. The air was still. It didn't seem like my words meant much of anything.
Man, just back away from the
Just to show I was
child.
making good on my threat, I whipped out my smartphone. The way he just continued to gaze as I unlocked it and showed I was getting ready to dial made me nervous. "I'm not bluffing," I told him.
Back away
Not even a whimper of
from
frustration.
the
from
freaking
boy.
kid.
I dialed. Not because I felt that I needed to make him comply, but mostly out of concern. Something wasn't right here, and the authorities needed to be notified. I went back to my car to grab my purse after talking to a police officer, and then messaged Matt to tell him that I would be running late. After about 10 excruciating minutes of the boy staring at me,
Uh-huh.
I spotted the police cruiser at the end of the street. Gently, they pulled up to my curb and rolled down the driver's side window. A young officer nodded towards me and asked, "What seems to be the problem, miss?" I almost laughed. "The problem is this kid. He's been out here for almost an hour now. It's not normal." The officer looked at his partner, and then both of them stared over at the boy. For a long moment, neither of them said anything either. "Nothing to be concerned about, ma'am. Go about your business," the first cop finally said.
Uh-huh.
I think my jaw actually dropped. "What do you mean there's nothing to be concerned with? He needs help. Isn't there a loitering ordinance you should enforce, or a curfew?"
Man, I'm getting hungry.
"Curfew is 10:30, ma'am, and only on school nights. He ain't hurting nobody," the second officer declared. They offered me a card to call back if there was any other issue and drove off nonchalantly.
Okay,
I
that's
looked up
not
toward the trick-or-treater in
right.
frustration and marched back over to him. "This isn't funny anymore," I said, but my voice no longer had any sort of commanding tone to it. It was quivering and anxious. I didn't want to even touch him again, but I forced myself to do so.
Oh my gosh.
The same electrifying sensation flowed across my body. It felt like time itself was standing still. I couldn't tell you how long I was there just holding his arm. But after what seemed like an eternity,
Just stop.
I finally heard him speak.
Oh.
It wasn't out loud though. This was like a deep resignation into the farthest crevices of my mind. "Walk away," it said firmly.
Oh, no,
It's a
no,
cold voice, not the voice of a child.
no.
Not even really a human. No, this is the type of voice I think the devil must have. Perhaps something even far older.
Man, I'm getting hungry and
It
hungry.
was old, ancient, and evil. And it made every fiber of my being feel a sense of hopelessness, emptiness. I let go of him and rushed back to my car.
Yeah, just leave the kid alone.
I
Just
didn't get over the fact
Just leave it alone.
this felt very, very wrong.
yes, I said it.
So I called Matt up and begged him to come to my house. To do something to make this kid leave. It was an hour before he got there. I don't remember much about that hour other than a sensation of dread slowly creeping through my body. I didn't feel safe anywhere. I thought about going inside, locking the door and waiting for Matt,
Yeah, just freaking do that.
but it felt strange to hide from a child. It felt even stranger to be standing there, only 10 feet from him, and realizing that I felt powerless.
Dude, just leave the kid alone.
Even a child.
I don't even know.
was this something much older, much stronger, and far more deadly.
First rule. Child that's
These
creepy.
thoughts circled my mind like bloodthirsty sharks in a pool.
Just leave the kid
I no
alone.
longer felt comfortable talking to the boy, nor did I want to make eye contact. I just wanted him to leave. Matt got there right around 11. His face was a mixture of concern and frustration. I really thought you were joking. He told me as he got out of his sports car and walked toward the boy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's going on, champ? He asked, smiling at my visitor. The trick-or-treater, as expected, said nothing. Come on, bud, let's go home. Matt decided and prepared to tug on his arm. I knew what was going to happen, but it still felt like I was watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Matt instantly became rigid, the way a person might if he were to be encased in cement. His face looked pale and full of shock, his hair standing on its end. And then he jerked back and nearly stumbled into the road, his features the look of death. Matt got up, brushed his pants off, and started walking towards his car. I don't need to be here. You don't need me. Just leave the kid alone, he said. He started his engine, and I gripped the side of his car door.
Just let it.
Where are you going?
Just let it go.
He stared at me with a frantic look in his eyes.
Just let it go.
He sounded out each word slowly and purposefully. Leave the kid alone. And then he drove off.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave the kid alone.
When it was just me alone with the trick-or-treater again,
Just leave the kid
that
alone.
sick churn in my stomach returned. I finally convinced myself to go inside. I remember staying in the living room though, peeking out the windows and waiting for something to happen. I remained fixated on the boy, my eyes drooping and my weariness overwhelming me. Finally, sleep overcame me. The next morning, the boy was gone.
Oh,
No
that's good.
trace of him even remained. Not even the dirt that I had seen surrounding him on the sidewalk. It was as if he was never there. I tried to call Matt to get his viewpoint on the whole ordeal, but he didn't pick up.
Of course you didn't. You think he's gonna come back?
His apartment revealed that he was gone. His roommate hadn't heard from him.
Oh.
A few short hours later, I found out that no one had. He, like the trick-or-treater, had vanished. I went down to file a police report the day after. Something told me that it was important I do it for the boy too. But nothing ever came of it. Somehow I found a way to return to normal life. I forced myself to, really. It almost worked. I was almost free. Until the next year, when the boy returned.
Oh
Still
boy.
up here this time, there was no doubt. I knew I was dealing with a specter of some kind. That only made my anxiety worse, and for the whole night, I couldn't leave my house. I was certain that if I did, something would go wrong. He would cause something to go wrong.
Just leave the kid alone. Just leave the kid alone.
Somewhere after midnight, I tried to get a grip of my sanity and become courageous.
Just
Maybe it was the drinks I had to calm my nerves.
leave the kid alone.
I convinced myself that I could go confront this apparition and make them leave.
Leave the kid
I
alone.
approached with a drunken swagger, nervous and fidgety. The boy didn't seem to care, so I knelt down to get on his eye level, searching for any signs of his eyes or facial features.
Oh my gosh.
In the streetlights, I could see nothing, not even the reflection from his pupils. It's possible that he may not even have them.
Oh
I
man.
imagined staring into the faceless boy, and it made me shake physically. I lost my courage then and went home to sob in bed. I dared not try again that night.
Oh yeah. Stop. Just stop.
Experiencing something like this not once but twice, it makes you reevaluate things in your life, reconsider what is and isn't important. I've never really thought about having kids, not even as a little girl. My mother raised me and my two siblings alone, and I guess I always equated children as being a hardship more than a blessing. Over the course of the next year, however, as the months crept by, I found myself thinking often of the boy. The one that I now had come to call Charlie. What was his story? Was he a ghost, and if so, why? My mind conjured up a narrative that involved abusive, negligent parents. The kind that didn't have time to take their son trick-or-treating,
Just
and dismissed the practice as being something better suited for a boy half his age.
just basically just couldn't make a
In
sense of it,
dreams,
huh?
I would see Charlie becoming angry and storm off to bed, shouting to his parents that he hated them. And then, when he knew that they were asleep in their beds, slowly, he would make his way out the back door. Having no money for a costume, nor parents that cared to craft him one, Charlie did the deed himself. He took an old bedsheet and a rusty pair of scissors and headed off into the night, with likely only a pocket full of change to purchase a plastic jack-o'-lantern. From there, the dreams are murky. Something happened to him, but I don't know what. Was he struck by a car, taken? I didn't know. But this year, I've decided that I want to find out.
Oh, why don't you leave?
I'm breaking our agreement. Likely you will believe this is because of some curiosity, and you are likely right. I have begun to believe that Charlie is my responsibility somehow.
No, I'm
I
done.
expect one of two things will likely occur. Neither is exactly pleasant. The first scenario involves me attempting to talk to the spirit that I believe is holding Charlie hostage. The ancient dark force that has chosen to have him appear on my street every Halloween. I don't really know if such a being can be reasoned with, or if it even understands human concepts, but I will show that I have some form of empathy and understanding for Charlie. I will tell the spirit that I want to help.
Oh,
I
no.
will even offer to take his place, so that Charlie may go free back to his family. This way, at least these spirits will feel they are getting something out of the deal. But again, I cannot say with any degree of certainty that this will work.
Just leave the kid alone.
More towards my second option. This involves talking to Charlie directly and apologizing to him. It won't be easy. Going near to him still makes me nervous and queasy.
Is the music in the background?
Surrounding him is strong. But I want him to know what has happened is not his fault. I don't blame him for any sort of mental anguish he has caused me. Nor do I hold him accountable for what happened to Matt. He's a child. He is innocent in this. All I want is for him to know that it'll be okay. It might be a lie, seeing as I don't know what the outcome will be.
Yeah, but probably it's over.
It'll go one of two ways based on these methods.
It's over.
Either the creature will see reason and allow Charlie to return to his world or pass on to the next, or he will continue to hold on to Charlie as his prisoner. There is only one thing that I can be certain of.
Just leave the kid alone.
I'm going to walk out of my house and be with him.
Oh.
I'm going to tell Charlie everything he needs to hear, and then I'm going to take his hand. And this time, I'm not going to let go. It's likely I may never be able to, and I'm okay with that. At least Charlie will no longer be alone.
Oh my goodness. Where's how much? Oh, we still have like a little bit more. Get off my screen, ad. I have. Okay, I think that is about it. Okay, so that is where I'm going to end it. But I have to say that is a that is a pretty good story. A trick-or-treating story, a kid. Me, this is the first thing I have to say. And no matter what, here's the thing. Whenever something like this happens, I better move these things out of the way. Just like interfering with the main screen. Whatever. You know what? Never mind. I'll just leave these links for you, for everybody, everybody can know. And plus, I have to say this. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. That is a very good story. And I absolutely love Creepypastas. I also love the SCP as well. So, unfortunately, I'm still debating whether to do SCPs because, of course, there's that whole thing about what's happening with the SCP community. I have no idea if it's over or if it's still going on, but let me know down in the comments if that's still happening. But whatever. This is a Creepypasta episode. And this could be the beginning of my Creepypasta journey. I have said before that I might be doing Creepypastas in the future. Possibly more in line of anime types. I may need to look up if there's any anime Creepypastas. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed the story. I'm sorry that I wasn't talking, but because usually when I watch these, I like to watch them and not talk over them because I want you guys to be there with me. But also that also means that people are gonna say that I'm plagiarizing, but I'm not. I actually enjoy these stories. And Mr. Creeps is basically one of the few YouTubers that I actually enjoy. And heck, there's actually a lot of Creepypasta YouTubers that I like. Hey, Mr. Creepypasta, Mr. Creeps. There's also many others as well that I watch. And I know I'm making it probably sounds like a panic, but it's not really panic. It's just I really like creepypastas. Heck, some of them actually pretty scare me, and some of them actually, well, not really. I just enjoy the storylines, and it is fantastic. And right now, I recommend that you do subscribe to Mr. Creeps here, and also show him support, show him love. Support him on Patreon. I will have a link to this video down below so you guys can go enjoy his content as well. And like I said, I only wanted to do this today because I haven't really done any kind of Halloween type of thing. Also, it's starting to get warm in here. I know, warm. It's my room. It's weird. But I also haven't done any kind of spooky stuff because, especially for October, especially since October is literally my birth month. So I should at least make one creepy video. So yeah, like I think last year I did a Overlord theory, but whatever. All I know is I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know how you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want me to talk more in the video, or do you want me to just talk less, or do you want me to just talk in between to see if you enjoyed it. I will be doing more creepypastas, but not as often. I'm just to test the waters. I know it's taking a bit longer in the video. It's probably taking another few more minutes, but yeah, man, I just don't know how to end a video like this. I rarely do reactions. It's just, but whatever. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Shout out to, well, not shout out, but he's right here in front of me. But yeah, go to Mr. Creeps, watch his videos, and I hope that you enjoy this spooky episode today. I will be doing even more spooky episodes later on in the month, possibly more creepypastas. Who knows? I don't know. But for right now, I will be going back and forth with Sakura Santa. Just to let you know. Oh man, I'm padding this out. Whatever. I gotta end this video before I talk more. But like I said, yeah, enjoy. Like and subscribe down below to join my Dark Army. Press the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified, or just come to my channel because YouTube channel doesn't bother. I will be posting this on Twitter if you want to go and see that. Like I said, I have a Twitter page. Hopefully you guys can go there. It's blank. I only have like one thumbnail on there as my cover thing. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And yeah, also share the video. Yeah, and that's about it. But so for right now, I hope you enjoyed this trick-or-treater creepypasta. And next time, who knows? Maybe even more maybe more Halloween creepypasta. All the way leading up to Halloween. Hopefully I can. But it's going to be going back and forth. But right now, my Dark Minions! It's taking so long. Dismissed!